Welcome, friends. Welcome to today's Reconsider It live stream. Best live stream that you're gonna see all day. And here on this live stream, you are gonna get a very nice hour or more of some exciting live looping, all vocals, all improvised. I'm building up a beat and bringing you along with me. At this time, my friends, we are in a warm-up phase. And with regard to this beatmaking stream, this 505 beatmaking stream. My regulars know what it is. And I see right now in the chat, we got white noise. And we also got joining us as well at this time. We have got this world needs a hero. If you are new to the Reconsider It live streams, welcome! You made the right decision joining us. We want you here. And as we are hanging out in this warm-up phase, my friends, we are getting the blood flowing to this very beginning or foundation of a beat, which I'll be building up as I say, and bringing you along with me. As we are in this warm-up phase, I need to celebrate. Thank you for being here. Whether you are here with us live in the chat, or you are here with us live, but you are not in the chat, or you are here with us after the live, you are watching on replay. Thank you for being here. It's so much better with you here. I need to celebrate you at this time in this way. I have got my drink. I'm going to count to 3 and I'm going to clink the screen. You are invited to join the rest of us as we cheers along and celebrate our togetherfulness. 1. It's really good. 2. Oh my goodness, the high quality meter is just increasing ever more and more and more. 3. Clink. Cheers, my friends. Oh man, that's good. That's like, you look up good in the dictionary and it's just that. It's just this. Please like this video. Please subscribe. I could use some subs. Friends, we have got a 505 beatmaking stream on our hands. This is really good. This is really good. Lots of cheers going on in the chat. I like it. This is really good. White Noise affirming he has already smashed the like. That's good. We are living the YouTube life at this time. Being as this is a 505 beatmaking stream, my regulars know what it is. Here on this 505 beatmaking stream, I am your servant. I have heard your demand, and I hereby mean to supply. This whole stream is in response to requests I've heard to just talk about the loopers as a piece of gear. What am I doing when I make a beat? That's all this is, my friends. I encourage you to be as active as you like. If you are here with us live in the chat, let me know what you want to see. What did I just do? Hold on, how did you do that? If you are joining us after the stream, watching on replay, let me know in the comments. The whole point of this stream is to provide you with some technical detail, which is really awesome. If you are just getting started, you want to learn how to do beats on one of these 505s, can you handle it? The answer is yes, you absolutely can handle it, and I'm going to show you over the next hour how I do it. Of course, if you're already a 505 artist, here's another spin, maybe some things you didn't think of before. Also good if you are into gear and you just like talking about technical details and things. Also good if you just like me. So let's get with it, my friends. We have this foundation of a beat that you are now hearing. How did I make this foundation of a beat? And then how am I going to keep building on it? Well, there's drums right here, or I guess to even back up a little further. Everything that you hear on my loopers is vocals only. I don't have some really awesome, deep bass singing voice for this bass line here. It's effects in the loopers that make it sound like that. So how did I do it? That's the name of the game here today. This drum beat you're hearing. When I make a beat, usually, not always, but typically, when I make a beat, I start with the kick drum. And I started with this one in particular. This is one of my kicks. I have two kick layers. One I usually make a little more sped up, the other is a little more chill or relaxed. Generally, they overlap or complement each other in some cool, interesting way. Cool, like rhythmic way, I mean. They're slightly left and right if you got one of these nice headphones on. My kicks are slightly left and right. And that's reflected in how they're positioned on the looper. There's the center channel, which I didn't use yet, but that'll be panned to the center. And then a little to the left and right, the two different kicks. So here's the one that's to the little to the left. How much to the left is this one? 4 to the left. And that goes from 1 to 50. So it's basically like, if it has a setting of 4 to the left, that was really like 8% to the left. 7 to the right. So how did I do this kick? Let's get back to it. How did I do this kick? For the technical details, if you got the 505 in front of you, because this is on my lower looper, this is on the 505 Mark 1. That's where I do my percussion, and occasionally some other non-melodic stuff. You could stack input effects. This kick here, again, most of this is really the looper putting effects on it. Acapella, I'm just going like, that's it. That's what I'm doing into the mic. But the looper with effects makes it sound like this. So what are the effects? This one was an EQ, 2 effects, an EQ with mostly flat. There's a slight boost in the low end. There's a +1 in the medium high, but that's it, otherwise flat. So not much in the EQ, mostly like a volume boost. And then a lo-fi. And lo-fi is what really gives it the texture that you're hearing here. I'll shut up. Here, listen. There's like a digital graininess to it. That comes from the lo-fi effect. So if you're stacking these up, you could also do this. Just an EQ and then passed into a lo-fi. And there's a couple settings in there. You just putz around with it a little. Then there's this hi-hat shaker layer thing. Generally, I make 2 of these layers, far to the right, and also I'm going to make a new one, I guess now, far to the left. The one that's far to the right generally complements the kick drum. You can see in this case they coincide almost exactly. Yeah, like exactly they coincide. But I'm going to make another one of these hi-hat shaker layers. And just like the 2 kick layers complement each other, one of them, this one is the more sparse, kind of chill one. This other kick layer, this one is the more upbeat or hype one. Similarly, this hi-hat layer, this hi-hat shaker layer, its purpose was to complement the kick drum. Now I'm going to make another hi-hat shaker layer for a different purpose. Now, what would contribute to this beat? Well, it's only relatively recently that I began adding this new layer, but it's in recognition of how I generally make rhythms, which is usually kind of a jagged manner. It's like this clustered, jagged thing. That's how I make rhythms. And in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, it's dope. But I understand that it's easier to follow if I have something a little more, familiar and easy to follow, more recognizable. So I've recently been adding another hi-hat shaker layer, which is more of a metronome type of thing. Even this hi-hat shaker layer over, this is more of a shaker in this case. Oh, by the way, I didn't say what this is made out of. So this is just me doing multiple layers of like that. There's nothing special or something to that effect. Just layering it. You could do that on any given channel. You could start recording and then you can overlay it with multiple additional recordings and have this stack of, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many I did in this case. Something like that, 3 or 4 or 5 layers. The kick drums are just 1 layer each. but this shaker layer, generally it's multi-layered. I'm going to make another one now. As I say, this one is going to be more of a metronome type of thing. So it's a steady, easy to follow, or easier to follow beat. To make this, I'm just going to put on, I still didn't say it, oh goodness. What is this shaker layer made out of? It's the same EQ as before, mostly flat, then passed into a reverb. That's it. And I've used very, very, very little reverb, as you can tell if you listen carefully. There's a little reverb here, but it's not a lot. It's not, very prominent. So that's it. The shaker layer, 3 or 4 or 5 layers of me going. EQ passed into a reverb. I'm going to take the same EQ passed into a reverb, and I'm going to now put in this metronome layer. There we go. Now we have a little steadiness back there. And the 2 shaker layers will, because they're operating on different rhythms, they have some nice, I guess, syncopation is what you'd call it. I never learned all that, I guess I shouldn't say never learned all that. I know I have been, geez, how do I even start? Okay, here about this. When it comes to music theory, I know some very rudimentary basics of how to count time, or I should say, I was educated in some rudimentary basics of how to count time and play hand percussion instruments. I learned a little bit of how to read a scale, or what would you say, a staff, like a written score. But most of what I do musically is just random experimentation for a little over 25 years, I think. So I don't know what to call this, is what I'm saying. What is this, syncopation? It's not exactly a polyrhythm. These are different things. They get in sync and get out of sync. I would have said syncopation for that. There's only so much I can do, though. Until somebody like Moses shows up and we just can really, now we can get the party started. So we got this additional hi-hat layer that functions more like a metronome than anything else. And again, I do that in my case because all of my other percussion layers are usually pretty jagged. So I'm giving you a little, thing to make sure you can always orient yourself. Now I still have to add this center percussion layer, so I'm going to do that right now. This one is going to be a clap snare kind of thing. Center pan. I'm just going to throw in a clap somewhere. All the drums right now are the same length. They're all 4 of them. They're all 2 bars long, 2 bars in length. So my loopers are counting this as 2 bars. I'm about to add this new clap layer in the middle, center pan. I had that set to be 4 bars, so I give the drums a little bit more dynamism. The bass is 8 bars. These other 2 you heard earlier that I'm going to bring in again, those are 4 bars, so they're as long as this clap, but they're half as long as the bass. This one all the way on the edge, this one is going to be 8 bars, the length of the bass. This one on the right edge, this is 16 bars. That's the length of the, or it's twice as long as the bass and everything else. When I make this clap layer right now on the percussion, I'm going to use the same EQ and reverb that you're hearing on these shaker layers. That. At this time, you are fully up to speed on how I make my percussion in this beat. I'm using a little bit of reverb today. The output effects. You can hear there's a lot of reverb I just put on it. It's cleaner now. You can hear all that. So that's it. I'm just doing a simple reverb. There's only one type of reverb on the lower looper here. Moving on from the bass, or I'm sorry, from the drums. Moving on from the drums, we now go to the top looper where I start to have a melodic key. This is what's really set to be A flat major on the top looper. This is Mark II. Mark II looper has so many more features. Man, it's so good. And we got this bass line here. As I said earlier, when I make the drums, I'm not doing some kind of special acapella stuff here. Same thing with the bass. This is me just like do or whatever I did here. Something similar to that. Not awesome singing voice. Not even in tune, my singing voice. But I feed it into the loopers. It's got awesome features that makes it sound nice, makes it sound like a bass, makes it sound like, or make it be tuned. So how did I do that? Let's talk about it. How did I do that? So we got this bass line. Here's how I made the bass line. Once again, if you got the 505s already, here's the technical details. We're going to go through them. There's 4. The bottom looper, the Mark I, you can put 3 input effects. The top looper, the Mark II, you can put 4. Oh, it's so dope. I will go on for a long time about how huge of a leap forward the Mark II was compared to the Mark I. Mark I was awesome. I had used that for many years, and it was very satisfactory to me. When the Mark II came out, and I was like, whoa. Here's how I built this bass line. Me singing poorly like do. Here's what I fed it into. First effect, and the sequence matters. So you gotta, well, you don't have to put them in this order, but this is the order that I did in order to get this effect. Here it goes. Started with guitar to bass. Guitar to bass is what makes it sound like a bass. That's kind of all there is to it. There's not much to that effect at all, actually. It just kind of drops the octaves and makes it sound like this. That one doesn't have a lot of buttons to play with. After I had guitar to bass to make it sound like a bass, I fed that into electric, which is the tuner. That's what makes this an A flat, as you can see here on your screen. Look at this. This is so. Look how adroitly. Look at this. I am navigating this. It's so good. So again, guitar to bass fed into electric. That's the first 2. And then I feed that into a tremolo, which you can hear toward the end of the bass. At the very end there, you can hear it turn the tremolo up a bit. Otherwise, you can hear it a little bit. It's there. Yeah, like here, you hear it pretty clear. Here, you can hear it pretty clear. So we got guitar to bass, electric, tremolo, and then I feed it into a sustainer. Sustainer is like a compressor. That's it. That's how I made this bass line. Me doing some not terribly impressive vocals feeding into the mic, but then using this looper effects and such to make it sound like a bass line. I like the tremolo. It came out nice here. What is this, quarter notes? Or? It's the eighth notes tremolo. Warheart says, the clap from Friends. That's pretty funny. Warheart always brings a consistent, let's say like sharp wit, a levity that is unmatched. So now we have this other thing. You got the bass. Now we have this other layer here. And you may have noticed that the bass was the center channel. That's center pan as well in my case. That's how I choose to do it. And then slightly to the left and right, we have things panned slightly to the left and right. And these generally go together, complement each other, harmonize with each other, something like that. These two layers here. It's the same instrument. I just record two loops. Man, this is so like assaulting almost. Like what is this doing to me? This is like a harmonic that's happening. There's mad octaves going on. This one I changed up at the last minute. This is the first time I'm using this instrument ever. I had something else configured here. I put something else. I made this instead. So here's how this one's made. Starting with all the way on the left here, we had a distortion, and there's, I believe, 6 different types of distortions that are of increasing distortionness, increasing like overdrive sound. This one is one of the lesser. It's just called a boost. So it's a distortion, so there's a little bit. You can hear there's a little bit of an edge to it, but not terribly overwhelming. That's the distortion subtype boost. But that's only the first effect being passed into this. After that, it goes into the electric. So we had the distortion, the electric, that's the tuner. That's what makes this an A flat, so that when I sing off key, it still sounds like something. And then here's one I don't normally do. I do have a couple. It's not like never. But it's an octave, which is what it sounds like. It creates a duplicate layer, or duplicate, I don't know, harmonic. That's 1 octave down. You could do 1 octave down, or 2 octaves down, or you could do 1 and 2 octaves down. In this case, I set it to be just 1 octave down. I wish I could show you more closely with the camera. But one of the little knobs you can play with here is that exact setting that I was just telling you about. 1 octave down, 2 octaves down, or 1 and 2 octaves down. And for mad years, I never understood. And by the way it's represented here, it's like -1 oct, -1 OCT. That's what it says here. Or -2 OCT, etc. And for mad years, I could never figure out, every time that I would go and consider using this effect or play with it a little, I would never understand what on earth it meant by saying -10 CT or -20 CT. I was like, it just sounds like it's dropping an octave or dropping 2 octaves. Why does it say -10 CT? And then at some point, I don't know, relatively recently-ish, I was like, oh, it's -1 oct. Oh. I appreciate very clear parsing that does not require me to parse correctly. Remind me to go off on a tangent about that on a Tinkering in the Studio stream. The whole principle of communication, where you take, as the communicator, you take responsibility for the package you send rather than requiring the other person to decipher your package correctly. I would be happy to go on a very long tangent about how I don't very much buy into things like, you know what I meant, or you know what I mean, you know what I mean, oh, you know what I mean. No, I don't know what you mean, tell me. I'm not you, I don't know what you mean. So remind me some Tinker stream, and we'll talk more about communication, principles of communication, and how you're not actually sending a message. But for now, this is a 505 Beatmaking stream. So how did I do all this? We've got the first 3 that you heard. The distortion set to the subtype boost, then the electric, that's the tuner, then the octave. In this case, I set it to be just 1 octave down. And you can hear that. I mean, if you listen... You can hear it's got like a duplicate octave down. So what was tricky about this, or let me finish describing it. So distortion, electric, octave, and then the final one is a tremolo, which once again, you can hear the tremolo very clearly on this. The tricky thing about this, as I was about to say, is how these duplicate layers here, they have so much low end, there's so much bass in them already. I actually made those first, and I usually do when I make a beat. I make the drum beat first, and then I go to these 2 left and right layers, and then after those I bring in the bass. So I had made these already before I made the bass. And I'm sitting here listening to it, I'm like, wait, hold on. There's already a lot of bass in these 2 layers. Man, these are dope. So it wasn't a very clear path, let's say, for how I would squeeze in a bass line. But I think it came out all right. It came out nice. It fits. The best part about what fits, though, is them crazy bits. That's the bits. That fits. Yeah, the more I listen to these shakers going back and forth on the left and right, I dig these. Warheart says awesome texture. Yeah, it's like I'm not sure exactly what it is, but like something about it just really hit the nail on the head. I was thinking about that earlier, how, you know, I was saying how most of my music that I do was just random trial and error for, what, almost 30 years, I guess. Little less than 30 years. Randomly beatboxing on my own, chaotically trying to figure out how to use a keyboard, like with no, I never even like read much music theory. I was thinking about doing more of that. We'll see. Study a little bit of music theory. It's like, what's the counter argument? It's like, no, don't study music theory, cause then. I think that'd be approximately the articulation of a counter argument to music theory. You must be at all times as close to a caveman as possible. Do not learn yourself nothing. No learnification for you. Much anti-learn. You may notice also that there is some reverb that I'm throwing on the top looper here. Just like I have a reverb on the bottom looper, because the output effect's top right. I got reverb down here in the lower layer, the lower looper. I got a similar plain vanilla reverb on the top as well. Let's see, Warheart has a comment. Most drummers find their beat after hearing the main instrument. Really? You'd say most? Now, I'm open to persuasion on this topic, but I am curious whether that most is substantiated by a rigorous data set. And regardless of whether it is, I'm still open to being persuaded on the topic of whether drummers find their beat after first listening to their, the main instrument do something. I do tend to just, always, when I make a looper beat, I always make the drum beat first. I have to in order to get a beats per minute and everything. So now you are fully caught up in how I've made this beat so far, which is really good. And yet I still have two remaining channels here in which to put a beat. I got two more instruments as well. The Mark II looper allows you to define 4 instruments. Or, to pre-configure them in one configuration setting. You can have up to 99 configurations. In each configuration, you can have up to 4 instruments. You've heard my bass. You've heard this like awesome, compelling texture thing, whatever it is. And now I have 2 more instruments. And this next one, let's see, what are we gonna do here? Okay, this one. This next instrument here, which I've not yet used on this stream. You haven't heard it on this stream yet. Here's how this one's built. It's built out of a synth. That's the name of that input effect. The synth I generally use the way you would use a horn, some kind of brass, a muted trumpet. The synth. That gets passed into electric, that's the tuner. Synth, electric, and then an EQ. The EQ has the low end turned down a lot, like almost all the way. I'm sorry, the high end, or did I say that? It has the high end turned down almost all the way. The low end is turned down like 75% of the way. So that's a synth, electric, EQ, and then the reverse delay. Ooh, reverse delay. That's gonna be nice. All right, friends. I am now going to go off of the speaking mic and go into this instrument I've just described to you. The synth, electric, EQ, the synth, electric, EQ, reverse delay. So there's that new layer. Once again, it's built out of the synth, electric, EQ, reverse delay. You can hear that reverse delay right away. Got that blaring I might re-record that one. Let's see. I think it fits. Dope. And then there's still one more. There's still one more. And for this final instrument, for my final trick, this is the layer that's twice as long as everything, including the bass. Most of the drums are 2 bars, the bass is 8 bars, these things are 4 bars. The next instrument I'm going to use, this layer, this channel, is set to be 16 bars. So this one is more of like the biggest atmosphere. Sometimes I use it as like a solo. We'll see. But this instrument I'm about to use, this is going to be very much a like look at me center stage kind of instrument. I don't know what I'm going to say it sounds like. It doesn't sound like, you know, a solo on a guitar. But it's something that's very not making up the infrastructure of the song, but rather the lead or the point of the song. So here's how this next instrument will be, well, how it already is built. Here's how I built the thing you're about to hear, which I have not yet used on this stream, you haven't heard on this stream. It is built out of a preamp. A preamp is what it sounds like, as though it's an amp. I'm going to plug in my electric guitar here for my amp at my punk rock show, like an amp. And so it brings with it a little bit of graininess, a little bit of an edge, but we'll see how much I turn that up. That's what it's built out of as a core. The preamp as the first setting here. This new instrument you haven't heard yet on this stream. The preamp. That gets passed into electric, which is the tuner. That gets passed into a tremolo. So we'll see. Maybe it'll have the same tremolo frequency as the others. Does it? Yeah, it does. Alright, that's pretty nice. So again, we have the preamp as the first thing. The preamp, then the electric, the tuner, then the tremolo, and then a delay, an ordinary delay. Is the final piece here, the final input effect. Lang says this song is called 15 by 15. So again, friends, we got this final layer. Beat is almost built. This is almost a completed beat. I'm gonna go off of the speaking mic and into the instruments from the looper. Again, this next one that you haven't heard yet on the stream, preamp, electric, tremolo, delay. That's what this next one is. I'm gonna go onto this instrument mic. Let's do it. That came out pretty nice. Wow. Nice. That came out pretty nice. Let's listen to that new layer again. Here it comes. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That fits pretty nicely. Once again, that one is made out of preamp, electric, tremolo, delay. Just an ordinary delay there in the last piece. Nice. This is so dope. I'm so happy with this. What a good thing. like this video. Please subscribe. I could use some subs. Friends, thank you for being here today. Thank you for being part of this here today. It's so much better with you here. Whether you were here live in the chat, directly influencing me and what happens on the stream, or you were here live but you were not in the chat and you were influencing the stream in ways other than through words in the chat. You were having different kind of influence in real time upon this stream and what happened in it. Or you are joining us after the stream, watching on replay, having a retro temporal impact upon us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this. We want you here. It's better with you here. I hope to see you in the next live stream. My regulars know we have a variety of flavors of live streams here on Reconsiderate's Music Sketchpad. Today we were in the upper right, the 505 Beatmaking. That's where I make a beat and I talk about the details on the loopers. And you know, here's how I pan them, and here's other, when I'm thinking about this, I make it this way. Talking about how I make the beat, enabling you to try some of these strategies as well. Man, it's such a good time. Join us for 505 Beatmaking. In the upper left, we have Loops and Chill. That looks like a rehearsed performance, but it's not. It's me making beats, but just making them fast and not explaining them as I do it. Improvising 4, 5, 6 beats over the course of an hour. Join us for Loops and Chill. In the bottom left, we have got Unspoken. Unspoken, we got the loopers. We bring in the synthesizer, but no talking at all. Not a word of talking the whole time. Perfect for your instrumental needs. Join us for Unspoken. In the lower right, we have the king granddaddy of them all, tinkering in the studio. Tinkering in the studio is the everything stream. We bring in the loopers. We bring in the synthesizer. We talk about all kinds of stuff. Earlier on this stream, I said I'm gonna try to remember. You should remind me. I'm gonna try to remember to talk about communication, principles of communication, and not relying on your audience to know what you mean, but rather to speak so that they can understand you. Or whatever we talk about. Reincarnation. Synchronicity. Whatever it is we talk about. Join us for Tinkering in the Studio. And until then, my friends, until then, please have a very good rest of your day today. Please let the rest of your day today bring you unmatched joy. Unparalleled enlightenment. May you see clearly for the first time today. Put yourself into a receptive position today. Become ready to receive all of the blessing and goodness. All of the blessing and goodness. Blessing and goodness. Please experience healing today. Healing beyond that which you understood to be possible. Please feel a sense of belonging today. Please find your tribe. Experience a depthy, thorough satisfaction today. And I will see you in the next Reconsider It live stream.
it all.